this opening week of the NBA season. So let's talk about some stuff that we think may happen throughout. First up, we're going with the awards. So let's hear your MVP, most improved player, and rookie of the year for this year.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with, I think, the best player in basketball, Nikola Jokic. I think the Nuggets are coming in with that. They got to the finals, they won the finals, they had a little bit of a step back, they retooled. I think Jokic is going to come prepared. And there's always those questions about does he even like love the game? I think that's such bleep, whatever word you want to put. Because this guy, when he's competing, he is just dominant. He's the best passing big man in the game. He's clutch. His footwork's incredible. I think that little bit of a letdown, and now that they see the Thunder in the conference, I see them having a massive season. Most improved, I'm going to go with a guy that's been getting gassed up by his new teammate. He's been getting a little bit of hype. Amin Thompson with the Rockets. He just fits so well defensively, and if his game offensively is growing like they say it is, I think he's going to be poised for a monster season with what Ime Udoka is doing. He has that swagger. He's so athletic. He can just lock people up. He can jump out of the gym. He's like he can like block shots off the backboard with his head, man. This guy is so athletic. And if that jumper is starting to drop, I could see him just having a monster year. And rookie, I'm going to go with the guy in the Mavericks, Cooper Flag. Um, you know, I think it's a question about usage and versatility with him because not having Kyrie, at least for the beginning of the season, I think the Mavericks are going to rely on Cooper to create a lot of offense. And we've seen in the preseason that he can do that. Um, he's hitting his shots, he's passing the ball. He just has that all around, well rounded game that I think he he'll be at least, if not in the conversation, he'll probably be at the top of it. So that's what I'm going with.
I gotta agree with Lorenzo on MVP. I'm going with Jokic. I mean, I think most people would agree he's probably the best player in the NBA still. But also coming into this season, there's a lightness about him. Like you see him in these interviews, he seems to be enjoying himself a little bit more. That friction that was in Denver the last few years with the coach and the GM, that's out the building. I think they put a better team around him so he can trust his teammates a little more. At times last year, it seemed like maybe he didn't completely trust everything that was going on around him, and so sometimes he just felt like he had to take over as a scorer. But we know this guy can do so much with the ball in his hands. So I like Jokic to have a really good year. Rookie of the year, I'm rolling with Cooper Flag. I just think his versatility leaves so much room for him to contribute in different ways for the Mavericks. He might not win this award with his offense. He might win it alone on the defensive end of the floor where he can block shots and lock down guys on the perimeter and in the paint. Most improved player, I'll throw Jaden Ivey out there. We know he got hurt last year, but before he got injured, he was averaging career high scoring on career high shooting splits. He was really starting to take a step forward. We know the Pistons need someone to step in there to play next to Cade Cunningham, take some of the pressure off of him, their star player. And I think Jaden Ivey has a real opportunity here to step in, come back with some new energy and bring that to the Pistons, a playoff team now, so they have some expectations here. He could really help them there.
See, I'm going against what y'all said. The MVP this year is going to be Anthony Edwards. And if we just look at him progress as a player the past 2 years, not only does he have the Adidas like media behind him, not only is he's like your young cousin's favorite player, but like he just needs to play now. And I think we've seen in the offseason, like he's worked on that back to the basket game. He's looking to explode numbers throughout the year. And if you're the NBA, you got your old guys all about to retire. You got the older wave with your Jokic, your Giannis's, Embiid. We don't know what he's gonna be like. But why not praise somebody who's the up and coming star? Like I know it's not a given award, you gotta earn it, but I think we're gonna see another step forward with Ant's game. And I think if you're the league, this is the next phase that you can for surely build behind. A lot of guys are getting hurt who are stars. So I think this is the year for Ant to get that MVP. When it comes to most improved, I'm going with Andrew Nemhart of the Pacers. I think we saw in the playoffs that he can step his game up. And him playing that like combo guard, playing off of Tyrese Halliburton, I think giving him a year to be the point guard, and if they get to the playoffs and he's one of the like big changes offensively for that team or just how they play, like he's going to be a shoe in for most improved player. He was one of my favorite players to watch during the playoffs. So for me, most improved. If the Pacers get into the playoffs after what happened to Halliburton, I think it's a 100% lock that he's going to be a finalist. And for my rookie of the year, I'm not going with Cooper Flag. I'm going with Dylan Harper. I think the Spurs could somehow get 3 rookies of the years in a row. And if to me, It's just the Spurs have opened up their players to doing events during All-Star weekend. And if you look at Dillon, he's going to be one of the guys that people want to watch. He can shoot. Offensively, he's gifted. I don't think he's going to be a liability on defense because you're going to have Wembanyama behind him. So if he can get in the three-point competition, if he can blow up in the rookie sophomore world game, I think that's just going to be the platform for him to just show like, hey, I'm really good. And with Fox being out, you don't know if he could take that position. You don't know if he could just start out so hot, similar to what McCain last year, where he's just a leader throughout. Flag is going to be who people want to win, but I can see Dylan Harper and the Spurs being a top 3 seed. And it's just like, yo, this dude has been like a key piece for them being a lottery pick to now being one of the best teams out west.
Speaking of guys who can light it up, I just want to throw Trey Johnson's name out there. And that's more so because of opportunity. Like someone's got to get those shots up for the Wizards. And he's going to have a lot of opportunities to get shots up if the Wizards allow him to go out there to do that. And the guy can flat out score. Like he can 3-level score at the rim, behind the 3-point arc. That shot is smooth. But I do think narrative plays a big role in these awards a lot of times. That's why I like Cooper Flag so much. He's already the minus 225 favorite right now. It's an uphill battle for anyone else to really overcome him just on narrative alone.
All right, so we've gotten through our player picks for awards. What team is coming to the season with that pressure on them? Who's in the hot seat, or who needs to really make a run this year?
So I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have the most pressure right now. And it's really a toss-up for me between them and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference. But I do think the Knicks, at least having a new coach now, that gives them a little bit of, leeway to fall off a little bit. There's still some pressure there, but the Cavs, they have all the continuity in the world going into this year. This is year 4 for Donovan Mitchell now in Cleveland. He still hasn't been to a conference finals yet. That noise is only going to get louder. And they just had the best record in the Eastern Conference last season. That was a team that was really supposed to make more noise last season than they did. They keep falling apart in the playoffs, whether it's injuries or performance. The Cavs got to step it up this year. No excuses with the Celtics taking a step back, the Pacers taking a step back. This is their year.
I like that pick. I like the Knicks as well because you get to the conference finals, you fire your coach. Like there's only one way to go. Otherwise, it's a letdown. But the team I'm going to roll with is a team that, frankly, like I'm not really expecting a whole lot of them this year. But it's more about their performance this season. I think can dictate the way the future goes for them, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. Because I mean, it's not even smoke out there. Like we know that Giannis is assessing his options. He's looking at his future. He wants to compete. And I look at that roster, and you lose Brook Lopez, you bring in Miles Turner. Like that's a solid little get right there. But where else is that offense coming from? And like I don't, I'll just say I don't trust Doc Rivers as a coach to really, elevate this team past a certain point with their limitations. And I know the Bucks they're signing all kind of attempted Kubos they can find. They got both the Giannis brothers in the organization. Probably try to find a cousin out there. Like who knows? I get that. Trying to keep him happy. But if things really go bad and Giannis asks out and I could just see the Bucks at that point. What do you do? Like you're basically looking at a full rebuild, and you're losing. He's getting up there in age, but one of the elite players in basketball.
Yeah, that's a easy hot seat for the Knicks, for the Cavs, for the Bucks. But I'm going out west, and I'm going with the Timberwolves because we've seen this team in the conference finals 2 years in a row. They went 1 year, lost their second best player in Cat. They went this past year, they lost one of their more valuable players in Alexander Walker, and now you're going in with Rudy, with Julius getting paid. To me, I got Ant as my MVP. If he can't get past this level, then there has to be consideration to break this team up. Because the past 2 years, we saw Rudy win them the first round matchup with the Lakers with his performance. We saw Julius and then beat a injured Warriors team. But if you're Ant, what are you going to do to make sure your team gets past? You look gassed in the previous conference finals. Getting there isn't hard, but you just can't keep showing up to the dance but not going past the dance. And if you're the Timberwolves, like you're investing a lot into them, you got to make sure that you're confident that not only this player but this team is built to make it past the next round. You can beat Jokic all you want to, but it ain't Jokic who you were facing off with in the conference finals last year. You lost to the Mavericks, and then you lost to the Thunder. So to me, they need to make a run into the finals just to show, hey, this team is capable of being the best team out west, not only in the regular season but in the playoffs, and that we now can see what Ant can do in the finals.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this question, like you can throw in the Lakers, you can throw in the Warriors. There are a lot of teams out there. You can throw in the Rockets. They retool. They're building win now, and like there are going to be expectations there. But um, I feel like no one talks about the Thunder in these conversations. And they kept their young core. Jalen's hurt now. Jalen Williams is hurt now, but he should be back. But like they they had a dominant season, start to finish, and it's a lot of pressure to back that up. So I think they kind of fly under the radar somehow, but I could see like internally they probably are facing some pressure too.
Hey, quietly, the Nuggets should be in there too. I mean, when you have a multi-time MVP like Nikola Jokic, your window is now, and they got one title to show for it right now. They keep retooling this roster and making moves to win around him. Do some winning, and they got to get there.
Now, we've talked about who has pressure, who we think should be looking at his finals or bust. Let's actually talk about our way too early finals picks. Lorenzo, you go first. Who do you have in the finals this year?
Man, I got the Nuggets winning. I'll say that. I love that Cam Johnson trade. Uh, I love the work that Ottoman has done, making Aaron Gordon more of a playmaker. I feel good about that pick. The pick out east is the one that I'm like, I went with the Knicks, and almost as soon as I sent it in, I was like, why'd you go ahead and do that? They have the continuity, they have the pieces. It's just somehow they just break down, and I think it's going to be interesting because they're coming in with that target on their back now. I think like everybody is talking about this being the next season now, and I love the Jordan Clarkson move because coming off the bench, I think that takes some pressure off of Jalen Brunson, and Mike Brown presumably will play his bench players more than Tibbs did. But I could see low key the team I have the Knicks beating is the Pistons. I could see the Pistons kind of being like that version of the Pacers last year, where they were a young team, they got to the playoffs, they got that taste. Frankly, with the way that was officiated in that last, I think it was the game four, game five, it could have been a completely different series. And I think they are a team that could be poised to make a big jump. So yeah, but I'm riding with my Nuggets. I think they'll take care of it.
You know what, man? It's October. I'm not worried about being right. I want to have some fun with this. So give me a rematch of the 1995 finals. Give me the Rockets and the Magic. All right. Now, I do think the Thunder are the best team in the NBA, but I felt like this each year going in about the previous champion. I thought the Celtics were primed to repeat. I thought the Nuggets were primed to repeat. And for whatever reason, one thing or another, that has not happened. So maybe this isn't the Thunder's year as we think. Maybe a team like the Rockets can step in there. And I do think Amin Thompson, Shingun, I think these guys are primed for big breakout years. Kevin Durant, I think he's just an added bonus to what they were building already. So give me the Rockets to step in there, make the finals. And then the Magic, we keep talking about how wide open the East is. Why not Orlando? They have these young guys who still haven't really hit their prime yet in Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner. Jalen Suggs is coming back from injury. They finally got some shooting with Desmond Bain. Um, let's see if this team can build on the defense that they've been playing all these years and add an offensive punch to it. Next thing you know, we know the Cavs are bound to fall apart at some point. The Knicks, we still have questions about them. Maybe the Magic are ready to take that step.
My East pick is a wild card, and I picked this team in this matchup several years in a row. So I'm going with the Nuggets. I think on paper, the Nuggets probably have the most complete team with your best player and the complementary players around him. And I think that they're one of the few teams out west that if I see the Thunder, I'm like, they can compete with them. And we saw what happened last year. Like, they just ran out of gas. I think Jokic was doing too much. You didn't have a healthy Murray. Now they got the pieces where they could be the best team out west and they've won. So for them, like, they're not prioritizing first or home court advantage. They're just looking to make sure players are healthy. Now out east, I'm picking my Sixers, man. I'm sorry. I got to pick my Sixers. I feel like if there's a time to pick the Sixers, it's now. You ain't got to worry about the Boston Blues, where every time you played against these boogeymen, you lose. You're going against the Knicks. Now, the Knicks have beaten them in the past with a hurt Embiid, but if we can get Embiid to the point where he's healthy enough to be in the playoffs, I truly think this is the year the Sixers can do something. This is truly when to go home for the Sixers. If you don't win it this year, I think it all falls down. You go with the youth movement that has been going on with VJ, Maxey, who's been in the league for like 7 years now, which is crazy. Kane. But to me, if you're going to get out the East, you got some notable chokers all throughout. The Cavs, the Knicks, the Sixers, I'm including them as well, the Bucks. So why not be the best choker and actually win this year? Because you don't have to face Indy, who is looking to upset people. You don't know what Boston's going to look like with Tatum out. So I think we finally get that Jokic and Embiid matchup. Maybe 3 years too late, maybe 2 years too late. It's whatever. But if we do get this is probably gonna be the best performance of two bigs, probably since that Orlando Houston series that you talked about, Prince.
I like the
Let me
idea
ask
of
you this, Evan,
being
though. Go
the
ahead.
least choky of the chokers.
Let me ask you this, Evan. So I don't hate the pick even, but like if we're throwing the Sixers in there, how many games do you need out of Embiid in the regular season?
50.
Okay,
50.
so you're
I
looking
think
at them.
if
Go
you
ahead, go
can
ahead.
tell me that Embiid can play the meaningful games, which is the head-to-heads versus the Bostons, the head-to-heads versus the Cavaliers, the head-to-head versus, I throw Jokic out there because we love to see them play in Philly. I doubt we see him play in Denver. But if you told me, hey, to start the season, he's going to miss 25% of those games, but we're going to make sure that he's healthy and we're not forcing him back. And then after
Yeah,
All-Star break, it's like, all right, we're going to ramp it up to where, maybe he's playing back-to-back nights at home. But if we're traveling, he missed the first one, plays the second one. And then you're
yeah,
telling me about that last quarter of the season that like he's only missing one game because of rest, but it's not because of injury. I'll feel more confident with the Sixers going into the playoffs.
yeah. See, I think that does have to be the strategy, and I think to their credit, like that's everything they've said. During their media day, during preseason, they've basically been like, listen, we're going to be cautious with him. We're going to let his body tell him how he's feeling and take his time. And I think that's how often we saw him. Not only him, there are a few players in the NBA that I think they push themselves when they're already banged up, and then they get really banged up. Um, I think they're almost going to have to kind of weather some early season struggles, maybe if Embiid isn't available constantly. But I think the question with them, if Embiid is like, let's say he plays 50 games, what are you getting out of Paul George? Like that I think is the difference between obviously Embiid's health and availability is the big question, but the difference between the Sixers being, you know, a non-factor and a contender, Paul George has to step up.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you can get a healthy Paul George, and then you can also get VJ Edgecombe to look like Mini Wade, you can get McCain coming back off the injury, just being the spark he was. Like there are pieces on his team, and they're not playing through Maxey and Embiid, from which is what reports say that they're opening the floor up. So maybe it allows those players to get going early, opposed to just watching Embiid beat somebody 1-on-1 and then trying to play catch and shoot with him in the corner.
the injuries problem, that's like a team wide problem even outside of Embiid. That's why the Sixers are so scary. Paul George, he had a down year last year. There's no way around it, but he was banged up from the start. Like he came in the camp hurt. What was it, the hyperextended knee, and he never really came back after that. McCain seems to always be hurt. It's just like a constant injury bug with that team. But if they're healthy and they have all of those pieces, I think the Sixers can be really scary.
And to their credit, like Nick Nurse is a championship coach. He's a good coach. He knows how to motivate teams, push teams. So they have the pieces. It's just they need the guys on the floor. That's really it. Um, I do want to throw. I want to throw a team. I'm really hyping them up a lot though. Out west, I got the Nuggets beating the Spurs. I'm seeing a big jump from the Spurs this year. I see that. I see that. I see that face of them. I just, I, man, if they can get those guards, if they can find the balance to work them all, and if Wemby does take that leap, I think I got them winning 50 games around there. I could see them having a massive jump.
For me with the Spurs, it's more so like Wemby. Like can we now trust you with having the expectations, having the pressure that comes with like you are that next guy and being a foreign guy. Like we just saw Shea win MVP, win the championship. Like there's a pathway of doing it. Jokic has won MVPs, won championship. For Vic, it's like, you know, he's been like the, oh my God, we love him. He's so unique. He's so fun. Like, you know, he visit with the monks. He's working out with KG. Like it's time to get serious and, you know, not just be an attraction for being 7 feet and playing like KD, but like show people that you are looking to be the best player on the floor. We see it in the Olympics. He's been hurt in the NBA, but like this is the year where they got the guards. They just need to figure out how the rotation is going to play. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down and go through Wemby for the Spurs.
Are we giving the Lakers any chance to go on a deep run?
And that is it for this week's episode. We'll catch you guys next week.